Hey Megan, I've looked over your lesson plan and here's my feedback for you. So I continue to be really impressed that you're willing to tackle Shakespeare now because you know you're going to have to do it at some point, and so why not now? Okay, let's start with your established goals. So adapting speech to a variety of contexts and tasks, and I see how that aligns because of the assessment that you're having the kids do. Okay, so good. All right, so using the 3 tips to unlock Shakespearean language, I see that in the students will be able to, but truthfully, I don't know what those 3 tips are because, hold on, I'm going to click away for a sec. Unless I missed something, which I did. Oh, for the love of Pete, it's right here. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. So great. I looked at both the PowerPoint. I just missed those additional documents and the prologue that you mocked up. So very good, excellent. Great. So I really like that you're giving the students, that you're going to be assessing them on translation, and then that's exactly what you're addressing in your. I'm so sorry. I'm just stumbling all over myself this morning. In your direct instruction. Okay. So thank you for this note. That helps me to know what you're doing too. All right. So really, Megan, I'm going to be brief. The only thing that I see, I love the way you do this. I want you to have a little bit of a different flow to the lesson plan. So you've got the great hook, right? The balcony scene. It's like the most common scene, right? And that everyone knows about. And so you show them a clip from Warm Bodies. But then, instead of moving them from watching that clip into reading that scene, you move away from it. And now I get that may sound a little weird because you haven't watched the clip and they haven't even started reading yet. And so why would you have them read that scene? But could they read moments of that scene? Could you have moments of that text? Available for them, and that's what you're going to work on translating, so that you're moving back and forth between co-text and primary text. Okay. Same thing with here. You go before we begin trying to understand how to read Shakespeare. I think it's important to understand why we read Shakespeare, but they haven't even started yet, right? And so you have them take notes on why we bother reading Shakespeare. Okay, then like boomerang them right back into the text, right? So fine, let's read an excerpt. What if it's even just like one of Shakespeare's sonnets, right? There's, that you've chosen for its body humor, or, for its love and emotional appeal or something like that, right? Then you have them watch a TED Ed clip that talks about how to use Shakespeare's language in today's society, but again, they haven't even experienced Shakespeare. There's this notion, I know I've mentioned it before, but let me talk to you about it more here. And it's called experience before label, right? And we talk about it often, as you've done a really good job here, at allowing the kids to sink into a memory loop, a common human experience, right? But there's also the notion of experiencing content before we label, right? You have them. Look at this modeling you do. You display the prologue on the board. The students are going to see your notes and hear your rationale about translation. What if they watched you do that and then you said, this is what I'm going to teach you how to do today. So let's watch the balcony scene in this funny, clip, Warm Bodies, right? And then let's look at just this one little excerpt of the balcony scene. So now that you already know what happens in your head, let's start picking apart these lines, mimicking what I showed you with the modeling and picking it apart, right? It's still kind of weird, but do you see how if you visualize in your head first, you can get what's going on? Good. Now let's look at, the TED Ed clip, how to use Shakespeare language in today's society. Good. And then you have another little excerpt that you've chosen for them out of, I don't care where you choose it, somewhere from the play, right? And then you go, okay, let's look at this little excerpt now. Do you see how understanding Shakespearean language in today's society helps us to translate these couple lines, so that you're giving them this little piece and using it in the text, a little piece, using it in the text, a little piece, using it in the text, right? Because you're holding them back from the text so much that you're almost making it seem like you're giving off that feeling that they cannot read it without you, which you and I both know is a fine line, because they do need direct instruction before they read it, but you need to give them that, build that efficacy up, right? Let me give you this little bit and see how just that little bit shows you, like, look, you can start reading it. Let me give you a little bit more. Oh, look, you can read it better. Let me give you a little bit more. Oh, look, you can read it better. Whereas if everything is like, first I have to teach you this, and then I have to teach you this, and then I have to teach you this, it gives that feeling that, like, that you have to be there with them, instead of like working back and forth. Boy, I hope that makes sense. I feel like I'm rambling a little bit, but I think you might get my meaning, right? So then having them do their independent practice, right? So we've done these three things, right? You visualize, you looked at how Shakespearean language works in society, and you have 3 tips for reading. So now get together in your groups and let's have you read Act 1 Scene Run. We'll read it together out loud while you practice visualization, then independently get together and, like, read it in your book, read it together, break you up into groups, all that kind of stuff. So I hope that my recommendation for that flow makes a little bit more sense. Okay, thanks.